be like me missing a brain. But when you're born again, you are completely saved. And you'll never get unsaved. Now, how in the world, Nicodemus said, can I go back in the womb and be born again? So now, Abraham was a man totally of faith. And we're going to have more faith in the last days than Brother Richard and I had back yonder building these little churches. We didn't have all these battles. We didn't have what's going on. They wasn't swapping beds. Everybody wants somebody else's wife. That wasn't going on. We didn't have that problem. Adultery wasn't going on. It wasn't going on. But we got adultery. And a girl now, she gets a divorce. Say, boy, you're on this. I'm always on the table. And she goes and moves in with somebody. Now, let me just mention a few things. That's called sin.
Right. Right.
My wife said, well, I believe this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I said, well, you ain't going over there anymore if that happened. I said, you've been praying for your daughter for a long time, and now you're going to justify what that other's going to do. And your daughter, oh, look at that. Every battle that you can imagine, music, people walk right in here, and if they get a change, they'll change the music. We're fighting every battle. And they said we're independents. No, this church ain't never really been independent. We're just an old-fashioned church. Independents are mean. And independence is 1, 2, 3, 4. They said you get saved, you'll no longer wear pants. I've still got pants on, amen? And they said, if you get saved, you'll no longer smoke and chew and dip. That's progressive. So faith without works is dead. Now, Abraham was looking for a city. He's a man of faith. Man of faith. Or you can be a woman of faith. Now, what do you do when you have faith? You have to believe God.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Say you got a baby die, or you got a member of the family die. You get down on your knees, by faith, you believe God can raise them up. That's faith. Now, the second thing we see about Abraham, he was a man of prayer. Now, in chapter number 12, he was an altar builder. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not going to ask you to show a hand. How many of y'all pray at least 3 or 4 times a day? Don't raise a hand. How many prays 1 time a day? Now, what we do, what builds a church is prayer. Now, and Brother Richard knows this, I know this, Miss Linda knows this, Miss Walden. The only way that a church is going to go forward, oh, say, we'll get that, well, we're going to, no, that ain't going to work. The only way this church or any church will go forward, prayer has to start strong. Now, we stayed in prayer, Brother Richard, there's 3 of us, Brother John, you and myself. There wasn't nobody else praying and at church for 21 years, every Saturday night, 3 of them. And it looked real stupid, to be honest. He drove from Highland, I come over, Brother John drove up, and in one day, revival broke out. How many of y'all were saved in that revival? I know you were. Corey Mack was saved because of that, and probably several others. We kept a record. There was over 500 people. And we'd start singing, and then start walking down the aisle. People would fill the altar up. Well, what produced that? Well, 3 men met every Saturday night at a certain time. We didn't do nothing but pray. And Abraham stood yet in his place. Dear heart, tonight, my dad was a man of prayer. My my mom was a woman of prayer. My wife now is a lady of prayer. But in chapter 12, over and over it said, and Abraham built an altar. And Abraham built an altar. And when God came down to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, I ought to settle the issue on homosexuality. I mean, everybody said, well, one sin bad than another. No, that sin of homosexuality, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, I know people that's got saved and they're living right. But what did God do with Sodom and Gomorrah? Somebody tell me. Burning up. But now what did Abraham do while it was burning? The Bible said he stood yet in his place. Where was Abraham's place? He was a man of prayer. He was a man of prayer. Your children will say to you, certain thing happened, but you're in prayer and you know that wasn't what happened, they're lying to you. I told my son, I said, you're supposed to be in 11. Oh, I done this and I done that. But see, when you pray, you'll know when your children what they're doing. You know who will tell you? The Holy Ghost will tell you. You know what your children will say? Who told you where I've been, what I was doing? Now, we need to be so close in prayer that we'll know what's going on in our children's life. Now, the way I do it, I look straight in their eyeball. And that's the windows of the soul. And I'd look at them, and that head would go down just like that. Those eyes from my mama, those eyes from my daddy, brings conviction. Now, a pastor that won't look at you, it ain't going to bring much conviction. But the eye gate and hearing, he looks at you and you say, man, how does he know what I'm doing? See, if we walk with God and we have God inside like Abraham had, now, not only was he a man of faith and a man of prayer, but Abraham was a warrior.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be a man of faith and a man of prayer, they manned out Lot. Now, Lot was a heartache to Abraham. That was his nephew. And the king of Sodom and Gomorrah kidnapped him. What did Abraham do? He went after him. And I want to tell you something. If your child does wrong, go after him. Do what you can. And he's a warrior. In this business we're in, you got to be a warrior. You got to stay faithful. You got to stay factual. You got to stay fired up. And every day is not going to be a revival. Some days and some weeks and some months, you ain't going to feel God, taste God, ain't going to smell God, ain't nothing going to go on inside. You walk by faith. No sight, there's no feeling. So Abraham was a man that walked by faith. He was a man of faith. He was a man that had a fight in him. Now, as a Christian, you have to have a fight. Yeah. Amen. And I don't understand a man that cannot keep his wife under control. He'll always get quiet, but I don't understand that. I mean, God give you that wife, and you're the head of the house. You don't hurt her, but you have the final word. You see, you're the head. Now, America now, we've reversed the role. The woman runs the household, and the man says, yes, ma'am. But now I was raised biblically that the man was the head of the house. It's so quiet tonight. We're not having a funeral. And the man was the head and the woman was the man. And the children are under both daddy and mama. Now, let me tell you how dad raised me. That mouth went tight. Now, I'm talking Christianity tonight. So Abraham was a man that had a fight in him. And I made up my mind I was going to see my kids live for God no matter what. My wife made up her mind. You got to have, Brother Richard, you have to have a fight. I ain't talking about like that. But one of them called me last night. I stayed up on and off during the night praying. Was sick. But you have to have a fight in you. You got to have some stickability. You got to have some stamina. I'm going to raise my kid for God. Well, I can't get up in church. Get on your knees, start praying. Bad things starts happening. They'll come in the back door right there. Amen. Boy, didn't get quiet on that. See, prayer don't mean we're going to have a good rain, the sunshine's going to come out. But if you'll get to praying the right way for your kids, first thing you know, they'll walk in that back door right there, and the next place they'll be is right there on the altar. Well, now, how do you do that? Well, when you pray, my daddy said you prayed until you pray through. Did any of y'all have a mama praying for you before you got saved, or a daddy? Anybody had a mama or a daddy? Or a grandmother? Somebody prayed. Now, in order to reach our little children, they're going to be big before long. They're going to be big. Buddy, we better get us a prayer life going. And when they come down to burn Sodom and Gomorrah, and it was burning, Abraham stood yet in his flame. Now, we're going to have to do the same thing. We're coming into the darkest hours America has ever known. And that guy in the White House, or whatever his name is, I don't want him to say it, I don't believe he believes nothing. What's that's going on me? I don't care what's going on the internet or going on, praise God, in a woman's hairnet. He don't believe nothing. He celebrated Gay Pride Day.
Amen. Yeah.
Are you serious? Huh? Are you serious? We are in effect. Abraham lived in a day of heartache and trouble. Now, here's another clincher in this thing. There was division that went on all the time. There was a split. Abraham and Lot split. And in your life, and I don't like to say it, but you're going to have friends to walk away from. They're going to be split. You know what two real friends I've had all my life? My first wife and my second wife. That'll be your best friend. And buddy, you better get along with that woman you're with. And that'll be the one you can talk to. That'll be the one you can trust. Boy, what about if you'd been like Hosea? Every time Hosea looked, his wife was down on the street corner. But God told him to marry and stay with her. And so Abraham was a man that was faith. He was a man that had a fight. You know what? There's something else about Abraham. The only man in the Bible, he was a friend of God. James said Abraham was a friend of God. Nobody else in the Bible that I know was a friend of God. Now here's what I'd like to, when I die, don't know if it'll happen or not, but I pray to hear the Lord say, enter into the joy of the Lord. Now have an abundant interest to go into heaven. I'm sure Abraham will. But you know what? He wasn't only a man of faith, but he was also a man of faith. What about that? Now, why in the Bible they put the good, bad, and ugly? I like to have that music every time I say that music walk. That lets you know. Now, I know some of y'all, you live above sin, you live above foolery. Amen. But here's the deal. We all have faith. All right? Now, his first test, I'll be done just a minute or two. They had a family. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you ever went without money a lot or not, but I've traveled for the last few years, and I've preached in churches. They don't even give you a goodbye and may God bless you. Amen. Now, Cinnamon Street always been good to preachers. We've always took care of it. So a famine comes. What do we do when trouble comes? What should we do? Pray. But what did Abraham do? He went